Welcome back to the Retention Edge podcast. I've got Vidar here from Emfas AI. Vidar, give everyone a quick introduction on yourself, man.
Yeah, hi everyone. Vidar here from Emfas. Great to be here, calling in from cold and dark Stockholm, Sweden. And today I'm going to talk a bit about building the future of product enrichment in e-commerce.
Yeah, so look, give everyone a breakdown of the core problem that you guys are trying to solve right now, both from a perspective of how it's being done right now or most commonly being done right now, and how you guys are and what you guys and then what you guys have right now as your product and how you're
Yeah,
solving for it, and kind of, the future of where it's going as well, right? Obviously, you guys are a startup, you're just getting started here. So, yeah,
yeah,
walk us through it.
sure. Okay, so taking a few steps back here, ever since the conception of e-commerce and selling products online, you essentially need two things to be able to sell something effectively on the web. For one, you need a good product, like actually to sell something that's good. And then the second thing is that you need to add data and kind of explain to the world what you are selling. And historically and previously, this has all been happening manually by humans. So, humans have been going into these PIM systems or product information management systems where you simply add, this is a t-shirt or this is a pair of headphones. And then you explain the different unique selling points and what they're good for and how you can use the product. But aside from just the products, you also add, a bunch of different tags on it, to determine how you want to merchandise the product. Categories like metadata for Google or other ad services or search engines. There are tons of data that you add on these products. And as e-commerce has become more and more global, and you're selling more and more stuff online, this task of maintaining a product catalog is a huge amount of work that brands are constantly struggling with and constantly have to manage. And up until this point, it's as I said, all been handled manually. But now with the wonderful technology of AI and large language models, I would say that this is one of the best use cases of applying this intelligence on top of these very mundane tasks of writing these descriptive things and categorizing a product or tagging a product and even translating them into different languages, where we simply unlock an automation here.
Hmm.
So what we do at Emfas is we are essentially bridging the gap between AI together with your product catalog and enabling you as a brand to essentially focus on what you do best, which is being a brand and being creative and actually do cool stuff instead of just drowning in administrative work surrounding the product catalog. Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I can unpack as we go, how we think about the future here, but I think that there's huge opportunity for the industry as a whole to essentially, focus more on the brand building stuff rather than just doing the admin around it.
So, where do you think the product is going? And obviously, things are going to change as new LLM models become available. And, I'm sure nobody really knows what's going to be happening a year from now. But where do you think your guys' solution is heading? And what are the future problems that you're going to be kind of solving alongside of it?
Yeah. So there are a lot of things happening in the e-commerce space right now. We're seeing all of these different, front end or customer facing solutions with social shopping apps, or you might even shop using an LLM. If you shop using ChatGPT, that's not launched here in the Nordics yet, but I think in the US this is starting to pick up. However, this is far from the norm of how you shop as of yet. So I'm not 100% doomsday, everything is going to change, in the coming weeks. But I definitely do think that e-commerce is it's a rapidly changing environment, and the way we shop is going to change over time in the future. And I think our take here from Emfas and what we are trying to help brands do is, you know, regardless of what this future would look like, our bet here is that the brands will still require at least some kind of representation of what they are selling, and some kind of data on their product catalog level. And this is precisely what we solve at Emfas, being as close to the product data as possible to then power whichever, the future of commerce application layer is going to look like. So right now we just launched like our like integration with ChatGPT, so you can like put your products in a shopping feed, which basically then is aligned with the requirements of ChatGPT. So if you're a Shopify brand and you want to show up in ChatGPT, you can now just do it in one click in our platform. And I think this is like a key in just, we want to enable brands to be on whichever channel that they want to meet their customers at. We're just, the intermediary here, providing the good data, making sure that the brands don't have to, do all of this enrichment for every channel, like independently
Mhm.
and repeatedly.
And with your guys' solution, obviously there's a lot of talk about, AI hallucination and
Yeah,
everything like that. How do you guys ensure that those the product data that you guys are implementing into their systems is as accurate as possible, SEO optimized,
yeah.
and also not just accurate, but also like enticing to the customer almost in a way?
Mm. Yeah, this is like the holy grail, where you have this classic principle called like shit in, shit out, which I think is like still true in a lot of cases. However, what we have done in our platform is, you have two different use cases here. Where for one, you have the mono brands, like the pure play e-commerce players selling their own products, and
Mm,
then the second case is the multi brand retailers who are
mm,
selling other people's stuff. And if we just take a look at the mono brand, so in these cases, oftentimes you always need to provide some sort of like raw information about the products that you're selling in order for the LLMs and the AI to actually do something useful with the product and actually provide a good, some good content on the product. And this, like the quality of the content that you put in needs to be kind of, it needs to be factually correct, but it can be given in a very unstructured format.
mm,
So to give a concrete example here, we work with a lot of like fashion brands here in the Nordics and UK, where sometimes they have these like PLM systems, like product lifecycle management system, where basically you have the designers, they are designing the clothing and the garments, and they are essentially using these platforms to add all of the details about what kind of material is it, what kind of design features is it, like a ribbed collar, or like what kind of buttons are there, etc., etc. And when they add this information, they might do it very like unstructured, so they just add some bullets and some spelling mistakes, and
it's a whole bunch of
just,
random notes inside
yeah, yeah,
somewhere,
yeah.
typing it, yeah.
But and this was previously like a big problem in like this handover between like the product team, who are super stressed, like doing all of these designs, and then just handing over these documents to the e-commerce team or the marketing team, and they're just like, hey guys, we don't understand what you're trying to sell here. um, However, for LLMs, this is like really an easy task, because it can quite quickly sort of like look at this data and this like very unstructured, vast data set, and then just extract the important things, and then make sense of it, and then rewrite it in a way that's really beautiful and looks good for the end consumer. So yeah, to sum up, like what we do for the mono brand here is um, bridging the gap between like the PLM, and it doesn't even have to be a PLM. It can even be like an Excel spreadsheet. Here are my products, and here are the raw design notes, and then we just import it into Emfas, into the PIM, where we enrich it according to your brand guidelines, according to how you usually write your content, and then from that point we then push it downstreams into like Shopify or whichever e-commerce platform you're using. But just to clarify also, like on top of that, if you also have product images or sketches, like that can also be used as a signal to the AI, where the AI basically can then look at the images and then extract, it's this kind of color, or it's this kind of like design, even like fit, if it's like an oversized garment or not. Like it can see that, like looking at if you have a good like images and such.
Yeah, so if they have product images on a model or something like that and it looks oversized, it can gather that data based on the fit and how it looks on that model or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And then we get into the second case, which is the multi-brand retailers. And I think this is like truly where you start to see like a really good leverage of like using AI at the scale of your product catalog, where most multi-brand retailers have these massive catalogs. I mean, some of our customers have like hundreds and thousands of SKUs, where previously they were receiving all of these different spreadsheets from their suppliers. Like Nike maybe send like one kind of data format, and then
Mm.
Adidas come and they do like a totally other, like
Yeah.
what's blue, is it like marine or navy, or yeah. And or like the job of the multi-brand retailer is to like synthesize and align all of this content according to their standard. um, and this is something that's also like a really clear case for an LLM driven or like AI native PIM, where you simply import all of your raw data using this like from the suppliers, and then it just normalizes the whole product catalog according to your specific way of writing content.
Mm.
And I mean, then we even have like a layer on top of this, which is like a really cool feature, where sometimes you don't even have to provide this like information in CSVs or PDFs. We can simply use our deep research functionality, where as long as you have like a SKU or like barcode of the product, and it's available online, then like our AI can go to the web. Like let's say that you're selling like an Adidas sneaker. um, the AI will then go to the Adidas webpage and find all of the relevant information about the material, about the fit, about the design, and fetch all of that into Emfas,
Cool.
and then rewrite it in a way that makes sense for your brand, and then you're good to go. So this can be like fully automated, which is like a crazy experience as a multi-brand retailer.
No, that's so cool. And that makes complete sense because the multi-brand retailer won't have access to the PLM, right? And so they
Yeah,
wouldn't be able to have
exactly.
all that data. But if they can collect it directly from the brand's homepage, where they have probably more information than they're providing that brand even a lot of the
Yeah.
time, then they can pull from that, combine it with whatever notes that they have, combine it with their branding, and then spit it out onto the PDP and wherever else that they'll have it trust.
Yeah, exactly. And what we see now, like with our customers, is that when you now have this center or like this centralized repository for all of your products, and then you have the ability to also add, in our brand language, we'd always use like these terms instead of these ones,
Mhm.
or like we always like to capitalize certain words, or mention this technology in a certain way. Like we see that brands are now, with using like leveraging AI on top of this, they can be even more sort of brand driven and creatively driven, where they can really easily like, okay, we're now going to improve how we write about all of our jackets, like thousands of products, and they just append all of these rules on top of them, yielding like a lot more rich product catalog experience than they could ever like possibly imagine before. So I think like being a multi-brand retailer, like you have a lot of more opportunities here, like using AI to your advantage.
Do you find that uh, how is this impacting SEO and the brand's ability, whether it's multi-brand or it's their own brand, how it's impacting them getting discovered inside ChatGPT and everything? Is it helping because they're PDPs are much more enriched with more data, and therefore the LLM has more information that can be provided to it. Like, and uh, LLMs are going to get largely driven by the product description and what
Yeah.
you're doing on the page itself. Dozens of different variables. But how is this impacting SEO and the way brands get discovered online?
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, first off, like a lot of people are talking about like GEO or like generative engine optimization, which I mean it's in a lot of ways it's just SEO like in a new sort of suit or whatever. Um, but there are some things that the LLMs really like in terms of like findability and premiering your products, and a lot of it is like stems from making sure that your product content is aligned with the intent of the end consumer. And what this means is that, if you are selling ski goggles made out of like a specific material or with specific features, it's really important that you mention like, okay, in what kind of ways or use cases are these ski goggles relevant? um, because whenever someone searches for a product on ChatGPT, the search has a lot of higher context than just searching for ski goggles.
Hmm.
Oftentimes, it's I'm going to do this a skiing trip in this particular place in the world where I have these different requirements,
Yeah,
or
I have sensitive eyes, and it's going to be
yeah.
sunny, and I need something that's really good at
Yeah,
block.
and by the way, I also like these kinds of brands from before.
Yeah,
So you
and
like
this
take all of
style
this
and
content.
color flow. Yeah,
Yeah, so all of this context, alongside with maybe your price preferences and whatnot, uh, and this can then be matched against the data on the PDP. That means that the PDP is required to have a lot more than just ski goggles
hmm.
and the price. Like you will need to have not just like a good description, but one thing that we have found, which is a really good like SEO hack or GEO hack, which is to add rich FAQ sections on your PDPs.
Hmm.
So like frequently asked questions, for who is this product for, or how is this product used? What are the unique selling points of this product? So adding all of that content, like it can be like in the bottom of the PDP. It doesn't have to be visually very like
Yeah.
centered, but as long as the data is there, then the AI, like having a way to find that and match that against the user's intent, is a really, really good thing to invest in as a brand right now.
Do you find that like there's so many tools out there now that have raised millions, tens of millions of dollars
Yeah.
to specifically be the SEO tool for AI, right? Do you find that you're almost competing against those in a lot of ways because you're kind of doing a lot of the same work that they would be doing to an extent?
Yeah, I mean, so what we are building at the core here is definitely not an SEO tool or like just optimizing your content. Like we are trying to solve the end to end workflow of like how do you get your product from the physical shelf to the digital world.
No.
Um, and it's a lot like bigger workflow than just optimizing some content pieces. And the other part here is that I definitely think that this is it's a very crowded space, like optimizing the
Yeah.
content like SEO wise. And I do believe that this is somewhat going to become like a commodity, like over time, where the LLMs will sort of understand, or like it will kind of override all of these like minor optimizations, and more importantly, just look at the what are the brand actually selling here, what is my user or the like LLM user actually looking for, and then just finding the objectively like best match here, because
Mhm.
in the end the LLMs are like optimized for like user satisfaction, and making sure that the user finds the products that they are looking for, um, not to like drive a lot of ad revenue yet, however. So I think that there might be a lot of things happening here like over time. and I think ads will definitely like happen at some point in the LLMs.
Mhm.
Um, but all in all, yeah, I don't think like Emfas like we will use like the practices that are like readily available, and we don't really have to care about the like this final percentages to optimize, because right now most brands just need to get the raw data, like the 80% of the data available for the
Yeah.
LLMs.
So, like, the SEO benefit you guys are providing, it's like a side effect of
Yeah,
just having a
definitely.
more robust PDP description, or a not, that's not the right word, but a more robust, like, PDP in general, with all the relevant, correct, proper information on there,
Yeah,
everything else that they might not be doing right now because, they have one guy trying to update 100,000 SKUs or something
yeah,
like
exactly. I'd
that.
even say that it's like it's we definitely solve, the majority of your like SEO needs just
Mhm.
by having the correct content in place, like
Yeah.
having like proper meta titles, proper meta descriptions, like uniqueness across all of your variants. Those things are way more important than optimizing for those like final percentages at the very end.
Do you think that, the like, what do you think is the percentage of fixes that a brand needs to do once you guys have pulled all this data in? Because I'm assuming someone's still reviewing every single one of these, or do they trust you guys enough now? Like, it's doing so well that, maybe there's a 0.01% error rate where it doesn't do it the product justice or whatever it is. Like, what
Yeah,
are you guys seeing there?
yeah. So this is definitely where we're seeing the adoption of AI like happening quite rapidly, where like the models have definitely passed the point where it's like way better than human error in terms of like making sure that the content is correct, and that these like hallucinations stay at like a very very low level.
Mhm.
um, on top of this, like what we do in Emfas is that we're doing like all of the different tricks in the books of like how to minimize, like hallucinations and errors
Yeah.
and like misalignment between content. So, whenever you're generating stuff in Emfas, the platform will actually like warn you as a human if it's missing. Like, let's say that you're writing a description and you have defined that the material should always be included in the text, but then the LLM is unsure if it can't find any information about the material from your like available data. Then the platform will actually warn you as a human, like,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah.
I need like manual intervention here. Please help me out. So it won't just automatically push like missing data or inconsistent data. It's definitely gonna warn you as a human. And as we have rolled out all of these features, what we're seeing among our customers is that, for a lot of these like very mundane things like categorizing your product, or even like writing your alt texts for every single image on your
Mhm.
product catalog, like no one wants to check that, and like the accuracy is so high that most of our customers simply like put that on autopilot, where they create an automation in our platform which basically says that as soon as there's a new product image imported from Shopify, then it automatically enriches that image with a really good and optimized like alt text, and then pushes it back into Shopify. So
Hmm.
for those kinds of like content pieces, we definitely see more of the automated way of working. But then if you're a brand that cares a lot about the look and feel of your like content and your products, then we still see that some brands like go through each and every description of every product. Some even like have native speakers in different languages like going through the translations just to make sure that it looks exactly like they want. But as time goes on and they realize that, okay, now we've set up all of the different rules and instruction to the AI of how we want things to look like, they can simply start to like automate it more and more.
Yes, you almost have like you basically have this person that might have been managing this in the past, moving from like the manual work of having to do this to basically just managing the LLM itself, managing the product itself, giving it new rules, giving it advice,
Yes.
giving it feedback, fixing the little errors that happen. So you're basically getting someone that's more like prompt engineering the product moving forward versus having to manually update this all themselves. Uh,
Yeah, I think that's a good observation where people who previously were like maybe head of brand or like e-commerce managers, they're now also adding this title where they are like head of like AI like agent output or head of the brand on the agentic side as well.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, how long does this take to implement? You know, if I'm a brand, I've tens of thousands of SKUs and everything, whether I'm multi-brand, single brand, whatever. Uh, like, what's the typical implementation process look like?
Yeah, so this is also one of the like crazier parts of like a traditional PIM versus an AI driven PIM, where these old PIMs, it's like very common that they take like you know at least 6 months to implement into your e-commerce platform. However, with Emfas and with AI on top of it, we can have an AI driven PIM on top of your Shopify store in less than 5 minutes, which is like unheard of in the e-commerce industry. Um, and then if you're not on Shopify or any of the like larger e-commerce platforms, then we also have like an API which you can integrate with,
Hmm,
which is like super straightforward. You basically just push products, enrich in MFAS, and then you read the enriched products. So it's really really easy to get started.
awesome, awesome. And the so with anything that's like new, obviously there's going to be skepticism, there's going to be pushback among organizations and everything else. Like, what do you find are the common reasons that a brand might not want to pursue this right now? Because, like, to me, it sounds like a no-brainer in a lot of ways, right? It's like, if you're doing it this way right now, this is a 10x more, not even 10x, 100x more efficient way to
Mm,
do this, and you're probably actually gonna get better results in the end versus what you're doing right now that's taking a lot more time and a lot more effort. Uh, what are the drawbacks, or what are you hearing from brands where you're like, not right now? Because I'm sure not every
yeah.
single person that hears about it's like, get me started immediately.
Almost. No, I'm kidding. No, for sure. Like it's still like we still have some issues regarding like okay, the technical onboarding takes 5 minutes, but the like learning curve for onboarding oftentimes non-technical brand to use like AI on top of their whole product catalog, like that's a lot easier said than done.
Hmm,
And this is something that I think we're like trying to help brands like automate this even more, where we need to help brands like understand and build a system where it's really easy to like use AI in a efficient way on top of your products,
yeah.
instead of you having to figure it out yourself or like prompt engineering yourself. No, no, no. So what
Mhm,
we are building here is like a very easy to use platform with like readily available workflows where you simply click button that says like I want to complete my product catalog, um, and then just the job happens, the work happens for you.
hmm,
um, but this is something that we definitely learn from talking with our customers and seeing how they use the platform, and then we improve over time. um, so I'd say like we spend most of our time here at Emfas trying to perfect the interface between like AI and humans and making it as easy as possible to do these kinds of workflows super super efficiently.
hmm. Okay, that makes sense. So it's basically just at the end of the day, it's a learning curve that they have to account
Yeah,
for, whether they're ready for it right now or they want to kind of put it off for as long as
yeah,
possible until
yeah.
they feel like.
But at some point, as a brand, I think you definitely like you're missing out if you're not like leveraging this like technology that's now like at your doorstep. But um, like I am seeing, when I meet new brands, that oftentimes I see that they are trying to build their own like ChatGPT and like Google Sheet integrations, like trying to hack together these like complex flows or building these like N8N connections. and which I totally respect. Like that's because they understand that something's happening here, but we are just providing you with the pre-built, like optimized workflows to do this like really really efficiently, which is like, yeah, why this makes a lot of sense timing wise right now.
Vidar, thank you so much for doing this, man. This was great. Where should people reach out to you if they're interested in kind of exploring this a little bit more?
Yeah, it's been a blast, Eric. So feel free to sign up for a demo on our website, emfas.ai. Otherwise, you can reach out to me directly on LinkedIn.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
All right, thanks so much. Bye bye.